no death. He's got many faces. I look forward to seeing this one.
Everything you did brought you where you are now. Where you belong. Home.
They're coming. Our enemy doesn't tire. Doesn't stop. Doesn't feel. I promise to fight for the living. I intend to keep that promise.
Hey, welcome back to the
Okay, so
Lucent Troupe.
before we get started, we would like to start with the shaming of people for not wearing their Lucent Oak Studios t-shirt.
You see how he
I
just ruined
was
my introduction?
Only one
Yeah, he
who
just ruined my
remembered
introduction.
to wear. Get your awesome shirt now, please. These guys are excellent.
I was working out.
Okay, now
As
please
soon as I got finished
start the
working out,
podcast.
I came in here to do the podcast. That's how dedicated I am.
Hold on. Lando, you're gonna edit this, right?
No.
Oh, you're not good. Fuck you, Uncle David. I don't give a damn about a damn shaming. Damn you. Welcome back to the Lucent Troupe. This is Game of Thrones Season 8, Episode 1. If I'm rudely interrupted, I will put my foot so thoroughly up your ass about my favorite TV show that my friend Brian introduced me to 10 years ago. So,
Orchard Gans is still more important.
it is more important, but it doesn't have to come out with Episode 1 yet. So, we'd like to...
What's the name of this episode?
It is called Winterfell, actually. So,
I thought that was interesting. You know what I'm saying? It was a good reminder of how all this started. You know, King Robert coming. Arya was a little kid trying to run and see everything. She moves out of the way for the little kid because she understands. I thought that was a good way to start this season. You know, kind of bring you back home. Like this is where it all started in Winterfell.
well, it was said a long time ago, George R. R. Martin said it himself, that if you watch the first episode thoroughly, you can see clues into how it's going to end. And there's a lot that you just had to take in. Like from watching the trailer at first, you know, I noticed like they did a bad edit job for when Jon and Daenerys were flying on the dragon. So I saw that there was supposed to be somebody flying on Riggle. Biggest thing I took from it was that, you know, it's a good reunion, but you know, things are gonna fall apart and quickly. Like as soon as they get together and they get comfortable with each other, you know, hey, it's about to go down.
It's still a Game of Thrones.
It is.
Yeah.
Even with the impending doom, people are still vying for that power. And matter of fact, I was arguing with somebody at work the other day because they were like, you know, why does Daenerys have to be the way she is? Because of that one scene with Sam Tarly. And I was like, you know, I understand where Daenerys is coming from. The people in the North are extremely stubborn, like the Onion Knight said. And it's like, look, if Sansa was in Daenerys' position, she would have done the same thing. But bend the knee or get burned by these dragons. She would have done the same thing if she had been through all the things that Daenerys has been through. I'm not saying Daenerys is perfect. All I'm saying is that, you know, Jon Snow, even though he's honorable to a fault like his father, actually has a point. None of that shit's important right now.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Let's focus on the task at hand.
I will say this.
Let's
though.
just call it
You know,
what it is.
I honestly feel like Sansa and Daenerys, are really one and the same. They really, if you really think about their life experiences, what they've been through, they actually have gone through a lot of the same things.
Yeah.
And they both had to rise to their power in vastly different ways, but they're at the crossroads where they're basically the same position. Because if you think about it, she really is the queen of the north. While Jon was gone, she had to hold it down, and they really looked up to her. She is the queen of the north. Daenerys obviously did her thing, and you know she's queen of dragons or whatever. So I actually really like their
The Unsullied.
Queen
of
the Dead, Mother of Dragons, and
Yeah.
Mother of Dragons.
a whole bunch of
Dragons.
things. One thing I
Rigor
will
of
say,
chains.
I still
Love of
think,
my life.
you know what? I will say this.
Well,
I understand why. I understand why Daenerys did what she did, but I do think the counsel that she was given was the correct counsel. You know, and that was to spare him. You put him in a dungeon. You let him think about it. You know what I'm saying? I actually, it's funny too because me and one of my friends we argue about it all the time because he was just like, yeah, she should have burned him. She should have burned him. And don't get me wrong, I love seeing Daenerys burn stuff. I mean, that was like the greatest part of some of the past seasons is seeing her just come through, wreck shop or whatever. But I do think she should have showed mercy there. Not to let him free, but yeah, put him in a dungeon and just let him rot because that decision could have some lasting effects depending on how, if they, because I still think it's entirely possible that they could lose this war. You know what I'm saying? I don't think it's,
No, that's possible, but
Yeah.
I think that's all the more reason why she should have been more ruthless.
Well,
I think, wait. I think, if anything, the ruthlessness should have came not with like. I actually kind of agree with you. I think she should have spared Randall Tarley and his son. Is that his name, Randall Tarley?
yeah.
well, no, you know what?
Wait. Finish my point.
I'm only halfway there. I know, I agree. I think she should have burned the dad, but I don't think she should have burned the son. I think she should have been like, no.
No, I'd be like, okay, if it came to that, to that where
It was simple. Bend the knee.
yeah, if it came to
It
that,
wasn't simple.
Wait, wait.
And the reason why I say it's not that simple is because, you know what I'm saying? He took pride. That was his home. He was just like, no, I'm gonna die fighting for it. Now, you know, I wouldn't have done
Bend the knee.
it. I wouldn't have done it, but I mean that was his fault. He was too honorable at the end. He should have bent the knee and got sent to the wall like every other person that's
there is no more wall. And that's
well,
why,
what I mean
that's
is
why I think
get captured or whatever, and then your house lives on.
It's no problem bending the knee for Joffrey, but you won't do it for her. Joffrey was the king.
Yeah, but Joffrey was from Westeros.
Right. Because and me and WT, we fought about this. I was just like, look, just because you're born somewhere doesn't mean that's where you're from. I was like, you could be born in California, but if you was raised in South Carolina, you're not Californian. You're a South Carolinian. You know what I'm saying? It doesn't matter where you're born.
Yeah,
It
but
depends
you
on
still
where
gotta
you're.
respect the bloodline.
No, what I'm saying,
No,
but they got overthrown.
And Lannister,
They got overthrown.
and Tywin Lannister perfectly proved that you don't gotta respect that bullshit. He did really well. But my larger point though was, the problem with Daenerys is that she doesn't know when to use ruthlessness and not when. Like if anything, she should have spared Randall Tarley and then lied to Tyrion and burned Cersei on sight.
I agree.
Yeah.
Now that I
Burn her
agree.
on sight.
She should.
burned.
Yeah.
And then like, okay,
At that meeting,
and then, you know what?
she
And
should
then after
have
that,
burned.
after I burned her and killed her or whatever, and then I'm like, I went to Tyrion. Sorry, I lied to you, but you are now the leader of the Lannisters and the
Exactly.
I now bestow to
I have no
you
problem
the
with
lands.
that.
Yeah, I have. You know what? I have no problem with that because I don't think as far as taking her house,
And
no.
the only
You gotta
person,
take her
only
out.
person who's smart enough to see the sheer deceptiveness of Cersei is Sansa.
Because she knows.
Yeah.
She's been there long enough.
Yeah.
And she knows, and that's why I said. I still think it was a bad move, and I think somehow I don't know how they're gonna put it in there, but somehow I think it's gonna cause. Well, it's already caused some problems. You know, when Sam went down there to finally tell Jon, like, hey, you know, that's not your name, and you're the real king of the North. You can already see the tension between them two, and they've always been really, really close. So I really think it's going to be interesting to see how that relationship pans out now, knowing that first, because you saw he was kind of trying to deflect it, right? But you know, my father lied to me and all that. Really, it was just deflections and. No, like you're gonna have to own up to
But
it.
I think this is where, and this is why Game of Thrones is so great because even though it's fantasy, the characters are so human and so flawed. Because the wise thing to do at that point would be like, okay, we need to compromise. There needs to be some compromises made. Don't reveal that stuff in the dark. Reveal that stuff in the open. And like, okay, look, and really, Varys and the Onion Knight were actually some of the wisest ones. I was like, okay, look, they're already close. Why don't we just marry these two so we can end all this bullshit?
Dude, and end it
You know
all.
what I'm saying? Yeah.
And I personally think if you really want to play devil's advocate, if you look at the overall struggle of the Game of Thrones, right? There's never ever been any balance. Either someone's been too kind, like Tomlin, or too crazy, like Joffrey. And if you think about it, it needs that duality.
Too conniving.
Or too conniving, like Littlefinger. They need that duality. Because you have someone who, hey, if I need to burn it down, I'll burn it down. But you have someone who has some type of compassion for other people. And that's kind of unfair for her, because it's not that she doesn't have compassion. It's just that she's a little bit more quick-tempered.
Yeah.
Like, she don't play that. You know what I'm saying? Especially if you get out of line. So if you really think about it, what would be the best for the realm is them to rule in harmony together or whatever. Now, will that actually happen? Who knows? And if it does happen, it's going to be extremely difficult. But one of the things I will fault, because I think when you said, like, hey, yes, there's this impending doom, but one of the scenes that still strikes it home that is still Game of Thrones is I thought the scene with Daenerys and Jon, when Jon's trying to explain to her, like, hey, you know what I'm saying, this is the South people, and she was like, but I'm her queen. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? I just thought that was such a good line because it shows you, like,
and it got interrupted by the dragon.
By the dragon, yeah. It showed you, like, there's still, everyone is just still about the throne, and she doesn't even realize, like,
you're gonna die.
None of that matters. Like, it really is unimportant. But not only
the
that,
only person that realizes it really, or two people in the show to me, is Davos and Jon. Davos. He's like, hey, if we don't get together, we're all gonna die.
But at the same time,
I think the wildlings pretty much.
Oh yeah.
all four of them that are left.
There was never part of the whole Game of Thrones anyway.
We don't care about who's
their whole lives was about surviving what was in the wild this entire time. So, but I just thought that scene really drove it home. Like, yeah, still Game of Thrones, but I do think that is one of her biggest faults, because even if you are playing the Game of Thrones, right? Because she's so used to people just automatically loving her, except for her enemies or whatever. So
she burns.
Right. So I thought it's kind of funny, and it really shows how flawed of a character she really is. Because yes, these people, you free them or whatever, and they love you or whatever, and that's great. You know, it's a good thing. Her freeing slaves, and she basically like, hey, you can follow me, but you don't have to. I want it to be your choice. But she has to understand that you're not there. You're not in Essos anymore. You're in a different land, and these people are already free.
Yeah, different mentality.
You know what I'm saying? So they have a different mentality. So even though you are coming there and you are helping them with quote unquote their war, because it's really not their war. It's everyone's war. You know what I'm saying? Because the Night King's coming for them all.
They're just gonna get the brunt.
You know what I'm saying? Yeah, they're just gonna. They have to deal with it first.
And Cersei understands that too, and that's why.
And that's the reason why she's doing what she's doing.
Yeah, because as soon as I saw it up, I'm like, this is a classic trap. They're gonna get pinched on both sides.
Right, of
the
course.
dead on the front, and the Cersei in the rear. You know, so.
And Cersei's so much of an idiot, she doesn't even realize that if they fall, you fall too.
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
Because
now
the dead
you have twice as many. Yeah, you have twice as many dead as you have to fight.
But then she still has. Okay, I can let them and see if they can fight them off, and then they're weak. And then I can attack.
Right.
Oh no, they got overrun. I got old dude here with all these ships. I flee. I go to the islands, forget the mainland.
She mentioned
and
that.
she knows that.
She mentioned that in another episode.
But here's the thing, though, when it comes to that, because I thought about that too. She was like, okay, well, I can just flee. Here's the thing. What's to say that he can't? The Night King can't go to Essos.
He can. As a matter of fact, the first.
He has a dragon.
The first long night.
In the books.
And I read it happened all over the world.
Right. So
but here's the thing, though. That wasn't her point. Her point was like, look, we can go somewhere and we'll just
wait it out.
Survive.
We'll survive until winter is done. Until because the the seasons last years, right?
Right.
So okay, we'll just wait 5-10 years. Let it. I don't know how long the first long night happened, but let it
It
go.
was a generation, so it had to be at least 20 years.
Right.
Wow, so
like a
it should've
decade.
happened a generation.
At least a decade.
Wow. Yeah, we're gonna have to keep it.
So my biggest thing. Let's talk about the relationships that they were that we got into. Like the big, I say the most payoff for there's two big relationships that paid off with John and Bran at the beginning of the episode. Like when he ran up to him like, "Hey, you're almost a man," and he's like, "Well, almost." When he's like acknowledging that, "Hey, I'm not Bran anymore. I'm 3-eyed Raven." And my biggest payoff was the Hound and Arya. Like when he came in there and he was talking trash to her and he like, just had the tension there, like, and the Hound wanted like, "Hey, I'm happy to see you alive."
I didn't really see it that way. I saw it as him giving her respect, like,
That's what I saw.
like, yes, I taught you well.
You tried to
You know what
murder
I'm
me,
saying? Yeah, I taught you well.
just like a cutthroat would.
I think that I have to give what's her name a lot of credit. Even when she was a little girl, she's a good actress.
Yeah.
Amazing woman.
Yeah,
She's a
Maisie
good
Williams,
actress.
she really is.
She does a really good job with subtleties.
Mhm.
You know what I'm saying? Putting on a innocent, genuine, happy, going to extremely cold. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
She does the spectrum well, and
And she goes back and forth seamlessly.
But your girl,
Oh,
Oh, her acting. is not
yeah,
that great.
Daenerys,
Talking about, yeah.
Amelia Clark.
I hope she's enjoying that $1 million episode.
I know.
I'm sure she is.
I'm
I will say she did pretty.
She did pretty good this episode, though.
Yeah, she
Just
did
like
pretty
a
good.
dragon.
Well, the thing, let's talk about the dragons, man. I like when it shows that
My favorite scene with the dragons is when Jon Snow was kissing.
and that's my favorite scene.
And that dragon was, dude, that was
That
so
was
good.
so-
It was
yeah.
so good because the audience knows, but he doesn't know. He doesn't know yet. You know what I'm saying?
The dragons, though. But that's one thing. That's the one thing I do not like about the series compared to the books. Right? The books has, and you can't cover everything in from 5 books into 8 seasons. But it's the fact that they didn't hit on like only people of Valyrian blood can ride a dragon, and Jon doesn't know this. And
I thought someone mentioned that.
no
on the show.
not nobody asked.
I thought so. I thought it was someone mentioned it in passing. I could be wrong. Yeah.
So, and the other biggest payoff reunion was obviously Jon and Arya,
Yeah.
because
Because they hadn't seen each other.
Since season 1.
and it was talking about
Yeah.
It's the very first episode.
like her acting, like when she was talking and there was a little hint, nudge, like, hey, she, says just trying to protect our family, and he's like, Jon's like, well, I'm part of this family too. He's like, well, don't you forget that. And then not even 2 scenes later, Sam crying down in the strips like, hey, you're not Ned Stark's son, you're Rhaegar's son, and he's like, Jon's all shook. And like, how is he gonna go forward with this information?
I wonder why Bran.
I will say this.
Well, they still got the same mother now. It's just the
No, they
parents
don't have
mixed
the
up.
same mother. It's his
No.
Ned's sister.
They're cousins.
They're
Okay,
cousins.
they're cousins.
They're cousins. So it's still the same blood. It's still
Same
the
blood.
same family. It's
But-
just that it's mixed with the Targaryens.
Well, he's a Targaryen from his father, and this is a patriarchal society. So
Right.
even if you're like saying, yeah, well, I'm half Stark, no, you are a Targaryen.
Think about how powerful Jon Snow is too, because he has the abilities of a Targaryen, and in the books, and they might have hinted at a little bit in the show.
He doesn't
He
have
also
the
has
has a Targaryen.
He can ride a fucking dragon.
Well, he can ride a dragon, but he doesn't have the heat resistance. He's thoroughly a Stark. Even he didn't say it in the book.
Well, I know he can ward.
Yeah,
Yeah,
but
in
see,
the
I
books
think
he can do that,
I
but
think
he-
his, as far as his abilities, I think it's more the
But we don't really
Stark
know
side.
if he has any resistance to fire. We don't
He
know.
doesn't.
In the books, he
doesn't.
clearly got burned.
Yeah,
Okay.
because
Like when, in the very first
episode.
episode, in the first book, when he goes to the wall, and remember he takes the fire off and he kills the White Walker.
That's
He
right.
clearly gets burned,
Yeah.
and they were even asking him about like, hey, is your hand okay?
Yeah, but
That's where-
he's clearly a Stark.
They didn't really do it. Now they could have changed it up for the show, because I went back to the episode because I was just like, did he get burned or whatever? He does yell, but you don't ever see any burn marks. So they could have changed it up for the show. I'm just saying, as far as the books, the last dragon is Daenerys.
That's in the books, of course. But and the other thing is, even Catelyn says, the reason why she hates him so much is the fact that he looks so much like Ned.
Man, yeah.
So, my thing about it is, how's the North gonna? North really hates Targaryens, so every last one of them. So
And there's a lot of history. That's why I said. That's why I think Daenerys' mannerisms or how she's dealing with some of the looks that she's getting. It's just like it's
prideful.
yeah. It's like calm it down, son. You know what I'm saying? 'Cause
Right.
these are not the same type of people that you're used to
Time to humble
dealing with.
yourself, and now
Right, and now is the perfect time.
And that's part of being a leader. You have to humble yourself a bit.
Of course.
And one thing is, I'm going to call it like this: if they actually put everything aside and got organized, they have the best fighting force that Westeros has ever seen. Except all that infighting is what's going to be their downfall. Because between the dragons and the Unsullied and the weaponry they have, we're fully prepared.
Well, hopefully they're not gonna have that much time to be fighting each other because
no, they don't.
Right.
You know what I'm
There's
saying?
always
Like
that thing amongst all of the people that could get on the throne. Okay, when the dead come and we're fighting, okay, you go out there and you get whatever, and whoever the last one standing among that group, even though you gotta fight Cersei, you win. So they can also use the dead to their advantage there.
That's
Winterfell.
true.
Well, y'all
And that
don't know.
tension
But
is still there.
I honestly feel like while they're having the trial or whatever, when Jaime gets
Why
there,
would you have a trial?
I honestly think.
Well, that's one thing I don't understand is why are you having a trial at all? Like you don't have to. Brad said it at the beginning of the episode. Hey, you don't got time for this.
shit.
Yeah. Like they're coming.
I didn't even know there was going to be a trial. So there's going to be a trial in the next.
I think when they showed that
There's
the
gonna be a
preview,
show
she's
trial.
kind of like standing before Queen Daenerys and the rest of the Starks or whatever. Anyway, I don't know if it's gonna be. I don't know if it's gonna be a trial or not. Just based on the previews, it looks like he was kind of standing before, a panel and having to explain why he killed her dad, and I'm sure they're gonna ask about him pushing Bran out the window. If Bran reveals that, I'm just saying it looked like a trial.
Whose dad did Jaime kill?
Daenerys.
He's like
Mad King.
Daenerys.
Oh, okay, yeah. Well, he deserved it.
Right. I'm just saying that
she's gonna want to.
She's gonna want to know
Yeah.
because in the previews they showed her saying like, "Hey, me and my brother used to stay up and think about what we was gonna do to the man who killed our father or whatever." Because regardless if he deserved it or not, blood is thicker than water. So even though she's heard things about this, it's still her dad, and there's still a life she feels like she was robbed of. So I understand that there's going to be some emotions, but I personally think if there is some type of trial or whatever,
it would be tight. I know they're not going to do this. I know Jaime is kind of softened a bit over the seasons.
I could miss Jaime for
It would
season
be
2.
tight. It would be tight if he was like, you're right to be upset. But I was like, but if you're anything like your father, I won't hesitate to cut your head off.
That's Jaime for season 1 too.
that
I'll cut your fucking
Yeah,
head
I was
off.
like, if you're anything like him, and you just want to just burn for the sake of burning, all right, you got to.
And
that would be good.
That would be tight, dude. If that was it.
I don't know. I wouldn't say he's softened up. I think he just.
wise enough.
I think he just has.
He's
more,
softened up. I don't think he would have pushed. I don't think this Jaime would push Bran out the window.
he wouldn't.
No,
Yeah,
but I don't think
I
that's
think,
a matter of
his
being softened.
experience-
I think he's not gonna.
Wizened up a little bit.
I think getting his
having
hand.
it tough a little bit.
Yeah, I think his hand
He
got
has a
chopped
better
off.
perspective.
Probably humbled him.
He's definitely being humble.
Yeah.
I just don't think he's I don't think he's a narcissist anymore.
And the guy who cut off his hand is one of the best characters in Game of Thrones. The reason why I say that is because he's so smart.
In the show,
You're like, oh shit, why would I sit here and be threatened? Just cut off your hand so you can.
Yeah.
You're no threat to me.
I guess you get loose.
Yeah.
You talking about in the show or are you talking about
In the show?
Yeah. And and let's
Like I was saying, I was thinking that
Sorry.
during the trial, or whenever they have, I'm thinking that while they're sitting there grilling him about all the things that he's done or whatever, I'm thinking that somewhere in that, Bran's going to be like, he's here, and they're not even going to have time to deal with it anymore. Like, yo, he's here.
Yeah,
we need to mobilize.
Yeah, we gotta get
so we need to mobilize.
So what do y'all think of Bronn in his? Because I heard that.
I was actually kind of shocked by that.
Yeah, well, I heard that he said that people probably aren't gonna like his character in the last season. Because of what he probably has to do. But I mean, he's a self.
But I mean, I'm about to say, no, I'm not shocked by him taking the contract. I was kind of shocked by Cersei's because her sending an assassin after her brother, after Tyrion, doesn't really surprise me. But I didn't think anything could push her enough.
I see her. All her children are dead, and
yeah, and she's pregnant now with their new kid by Jamie.
True, but she probably sees it as the ultimate betrayal, and then she's got so much power. She's like, I can raise these kids myself.
That's true. I don't know. I was kind of shocked. I was kind of shocked.
Plus, with Jamie gone and Tyrion gone, she's the last.
And one of the
For
reasons,
her house, right?
Well, no, but she made it clear, like, hey, if they survive, take them out.
Yeah, kill them.
You know what I'm saying? So, like, it's got like there's
What I'm
no
thinking
love lost now between
Hey,
them, which I thought I was kind of surprised by that.
hey, what I'm thinking is he's gonna ride up there and fight with him, because you know Bron's always looking out for self-interest, and like, hey, if they win,
I don't know. I personally think he's not gonna do it.
I don't
I
think
think
he's
he's gonna do it.
I think
That's probably how Jamie's gonna die.
I still think Jamie's gonna kill Cersei, but I could be wrong.
No, I think Arya's gonna kill Cersei.
I think Arya's gonna kill Cersei.
It wasn't foretold.
Bronn, yeah, but you know what I read though? They said that.
It was said in High Valyrian.
They said that what's his name? George R. R. Martin likes playing with myths and prophecies because he was like, you know, they're always so vague and prophecies. Like
It wasn't what the witch prophesied wasn't pretty vague. She was pretty.
yeah, but the way he was explaining,
It's like-
the way he was explaining it was that, you know, when people really believe in that stuff, sometimes they still that gonna happen. Like if you think like she drove all her kids to death in some way, you know what I'm saying? By her not getting along.
This is true.
You see what I'm
This
saying?
is very true. Yeah.
Well,
Her actions are the reasons. Wow.
And none of the prophecies so far have really been, you know, like they keep saying that the wall is supposed to be magic, and he just blew right to that thing like it was nothing.
Yeah, but I thought the dragons were considered magical too.
no, but what?
Yeah, perhaps.
He
But,
didn't-
They said the only thing that could take it
no,
down was magic.
that's not true because the dragons are actually natural creatures. They're from that.
Well, this is a dead dragon now with frost breath.
That's not
Should
Frost.
go
but-
down.
No,
Yeah, that's-
New magic powers given.
It's
That's true,
actually
but,
not Frost.
it's a resurrected. Maybe that's the magic part, but I don't think the dragon itself is magic. You see what I'm saying?
Right.
Yeah,
So I
so
still
Yeah,
think
yeah,
it
They
makes
just come and blow
it's,
fire.
it's,
Y'all
sort
just-
of like Jon Snow. He was resurrected, but he doesn't have all these magical powers
Right.
or whatever. So I guess the point I'm trying to make though
Well, it was
is
magic that brought him back.
And if you look at, and Neil deGrasse Tyson pointed this out, he was like, if you look at the dragons in Game of Thrones, they're not like the typical fantasy dragons where, you know, they have maybe like arms but also wings on their back or something like that. They look like they evolved from other creatures because their limbs are their wings. You know what I'm saying?
They're
So
more
I
like
was like,
bats.
yeah. So I was like, you know what? You know,
Although they did have like four legs and wings.
no, I think their legs are their wings. When I saw it last night, they were walking on their wings.
They walk on their wings.
Oh, you're right. They do walk on their wings.
Yeah,
Yeah, they
so-
walk on their wings and they have the two back legs.
So I don't think they're magic. In fact, I want to say I read that the dragons might be from that southern continent.
No, they,
And we will speak about the racism in Game of Thrones at another point, but
Well, no, what it is they're a mixture of fireworms from Valyria and wyverns.
Wyverns from the southern continent. Yeah.
Thoros. And
Thoros? Is that the southern continent?
Yeah.
I thought it was Sotheros.
Yeah, you're saying it right, but you were talking about the same thing.
Oh, okay, yeah, because not Thoros.
I see
Correct.
Thoros.
I thought it was Sotheros.
Yeah, we're saying the same thing, right?
I thought you said Thoros.
No, I said
George
Thoros.
Thracian or whatever.
Oh, you said Sotheros.
You can actually take a
You were just
class.
enunciating the thug
Yeah.
part. Okay, I got you right.
So, but I'm not. What?
Dothraki speakers will teach you how to speak.
Dothraki.
Valyrian. I don't know about
Kinda
Dothraki,
like
but there
you say
really is.
Khan, King of
There
Khan,
really is.
King
You really
of-
can't take classes to take Valyrian.
Yeah, they got
Somebody pay for that?
Yeah.
So let's talk about the end part of this episode. How that kind of threw me for a loop.
That was a great way to end
That
it.
was great.
I love
That
how
was
they
great.
ended. I thought it was awesome.
That
I mean,
was
so,
great ending.
and that's
I'm telling
what's so,
you.
that's what's so good about
He
Game of Thrones.
loves
'cause
parallels.
When it ended, I was
He's
like,
always-
"Yeah,
Think about it. He's always about.
How did it end again?
It's right.
It
He's
ended
always
with
about
Jaime
balance.
Lannister entering the place and seeing Bran.
Bran.
The guy he pushed out the window in the first episode.
And how
Oh,
did
yeah,
that?
that's right,
How
that's
did
right.
that end the very first episode
Yeah.
yeah.
with him pushing Bran
No,
out?
no, that's not what I'm talking about. I'm talking about
He loves
when,
balance.
like, they went in up there, like the last heart with the House of the Umbers, and they like, hey, did you find anybody else? Yeah, you can say that. And
Yeah.
they went up there and like, oh shit, he has blue eyes.
Yeah.
I've always had blue eyes.
Yeah.
And then-
That was good.
That
Yeah.
one scene though with the little dude impaled on the wall and the arms.
Did no one notice? Did no one notice that he opened his eyes?
Oh yeah, when it
Yeah.
got there, you can see
We
it.
did
like,
something.
Yeah, I was just like,
He's
did
listening.
I was like, did y'all not see
He's
him open
listening
his
to
eyes?
you.
He's alive. That was great. I loved it.
The parallel that and I drew it when I looked at it too is when it was set on fire. You can kind of see the Targaryen dragon through all the spirals. Because when you look,
all the body limbs.
yeah, when they set it on fire, you can like to see the Targaryen dragon. Yeah. And I never, all the other symbols where I've always been like just spirals, and you don't see anything like moving or anything. But when they set on fire, like, oh, it looks kind of familiar.
Yeah.
Because the Targaryen dragon is spiky. So, it gives
I wonder if they're gonna do anything with Gendry.
Well,
I think so. I think they were set. I think they set up.
Because that was always a disappointing part for me in the books.
I think they set up the reunion of the Stark and the Baratheon fighting side by side again on the battlefield with Arya. And
I wonder if he's ever going to become like.
Well, when
he's going to take on the mantle of the Baratheon.
When you think about it, there's a couple of people in the books that qualify as the Song of Ice and Fire, and Gendry and Arya. If they have a kid, that qualifies also because the Baratheons are basically bastards of the Targaryens in the books. So he's technically fire. So if he gets with Arya, then that's ice again.
That's true. They did say Baratheons have a little bit of Targaryen blood.
Not a little bit. Robert and Stannis and
That's true.
Their grandmother was a Targaryen.
That's right. Yeah, you're right. Yeah.
So
I have to say this is not really related to this episode, but just thinking back, I think that the guy that played King Robert Baratheon did a great job.
Robert Addy.
For some reason, I just remember that one scene where he's talking to Cersei. Yeah, and it's Cersei. Yeah, and the guy had wisdom. He just wasn't a good leader.
But
he's a soldier. He was a soldier.
He never wanted it.
Yeah.
Besides,
he just did a great job.
All the people that they killed off.
Why?
All the people they killed off.
It's war.
Right.
I want a war. He was great.
Of course, Ned Stark, and Sean Bean, he's going to be at the top because he played Ned Stark to the T.
Yeah, Sean Bean was great. He was great in almost everything.
And then we got Mark Addy, of course, but Tywin Lannister.
Oh yeah,
always been Charles Dance.
Charles Dance. What's his name? Sardo Noomspa. Sardo Noomspa himself. Yeah, he's great too. And you know what? I actually liked him more in the series than I did. I think he had more relevance in the series than the book. You know what I'm saying?
Well, no, Tywin. I say he has more relevance in the books because. You gotta understand.
He probably has any speaking parts.
He didn't have to.
Yeah,
he just had power. People feared him.
You heard about him, but I think he was made more human in the show. I thought you got to see his many different shades.
Well, he put
I loved all the scenes that he was in.
Yeah.
He commanded a lot of the scenes that he was in, especially with his kids.
Yeah.
Well, with the looks he gave people, like.
Yeah. Because I know in the book when he's in Harrenhal, was it Harrenhal, the one that got burned down?
Yeah.
In the books, it's a different character than Arya.
See, like that scene it wouldn't have been the same without Tywin there.
Well, we're going to have to kind of hold up. We don't want to give you too much of the goods here. We'll be back with you guys next week for episode 2 of season 8 of the Game of Thrones. And we'll be live on location. We'll shoot a little bit of our podcast while we watch it, right? In the Vincent's house. At the Game of Thrones party we're throwing. If you're cute, you're invited. Cute lady. But we'll catch you guys next time. Good?